That one's a short one, you fool.
Apple.
You have to come a bit more this way. There we go, there we go. Get out. G'day, Stu here from UAVfutures. Welcome to another Sunday. No. What did I... G'day, Stu here from UAVfutures. Welcome back to another Sunday question and answer video. I'm going to stop moving around so much because Trevor's making fun of me, but pretty much what these are, if you're new to the channel, these are Sunday question and answer videos where every week or every 2 weeks we go through, we answer some of your questions from the community about all things FPV drone relating, mini quad racing. So pretty much drop those questions down below because then Trevor and I can go through and answer them. Now a bit of a bonus too, if you put a question in, you go in the running for winning something. Every single week we get a sponsor, every single episode we get a sponsor. A massive shout out this time to Catalyst Machine Works because I'll put a link down below, but we're going to be giving away a Catalyst Machine Works frame, also $100 of in-store credit so you can get some stuff. And I've got to say, I'm a massive fan of Catalyst Machine Works. I feel like they're one of the top companies in this industry who really do things right, really make some really cool gear. So I'm pretty excited. I really like flying the Norris, which I think is a pretty good quad. Now I could sit here ramble all about Catalyst Machine Works, but what I want you guys to do, put those comments down below if you've dealt with them or if you've heard good things about them, because honestly, they do so much for the community. And I think I'm going to leave a poll up here actually about your experiences with Catalyst Machine Works. Check that poll out above Trev's head. Check that out because I'm pretty sure that's going to speak for themselves. Anyway, what we should do, we should quit on with the rambling and jump in and answer some of your guys' questions. So why do we have to do it on Wednesday, Trevor? Where are you going to be? Because I'm going to be flying, but you're not going to be there this Sunday.
No, I'm playing in a tournament.
Are you going to elaborate?
No.
Okay, Trevor, the man of mystery. Alright, let's jump in, let's do this. So this one's from Redshift 1360. Hey Stu, do you think the drone hobby is being unjustly targeted by lawmakers and politicians, considering the fact that RC hobbyists have been around for 40+ years with no danger to aviation or people? Trevor?
Yeah, totally. I reckon they're a pack of arseholes.
Who, the regulators and lawmakers?
Yeah, because they're not listening to anybody. Not listening to the people they should. They're just listening to people that go out and do a survey, or they get this. Someone goes out and says, "Oh no, we shouldn't do it that way. We should do it this way," and they're not talking to the right people, and hence we're getting stupid regulations that just aren't going to work. I
would say I kind of agree with Trev that, look, I don't think they're making stupid decisions, they're just getting stupid information. So people like Bruce from RC Model Reviews, they're providing really good data about doing things safely. And this type of mini quad flying, like, we don't want to annoy anyone, we don't want to fly around people, we don't want to do anything stupid. I just want to fly around some trees and have fun. And if these laws come in other countries like in Canada and stuff, it's really ridiculous. I feel like the parts that are wrong, they're making big blanket laws that sort of try to justify and categorize everything under one umbrella, when really the sort of stuff that we do, it's nothing like some of those filming drones or anything like that. So that's the one part that I think is a little bit unfair.
Yeah, really dumb.
So this one's from LEV8 FPV. Stu, did you ever have any interest in RC as a kid, and what do you think about kids getting into the hobby? You want to go, you want I to go?
Oh no, you can go first.
Alrighty. As a kid, I guess, no, I didn't really do too much stuff with RC, like sometimes maybe like 1 or 2 little toys, but I never really got into the hobby very much or did anything RC. I was more into like video games and playing sport and all that sort of stuff. As far as getting kids into the hobby, that's a massive part of my channel. I want them to see what I do on YouTube and think, gee, that's fun, because I think whole families can do this. I would love to have done this with my old man when I was a kid, and I'm definitely going to be doing this with my daughter if she wants to, but I would love that. That would be like such a really nice experience for me to take my daughter out and teach her how to fly. And I think on flight tests too, they say things like, what is it, families who fly together stay together, or something like that. But I think I'm all about getting the kids in the hobby. I think that's absolutely awesome. Trev, what about you? Did you do RC as a kid?
Yeah, I did actually. But I started off with an RC tank. It was about this big. I actually still got it, you believe it or not. They actually did have tanks back in those days.
Trevor does. Of course you've got it. You've never thrown anything out, mate. You have so much stuff here.
It was one of those click ones. Press the button, every time it clicked it either turned, went straight forward, back or whatever. Running trouble in those days if someone started their car up, the thing would take off itself. I've really been into it ever since I could. Mainly cars and stuff. Tried a few planes, but they didn't stay up very long. Since we got these quads out, a lot more fun. What about getting kids in the hobby? What do you think about that? Oh yeah, look, I reckon it's a must. Especially, it's a lot easier now with these little micros we've got around. They can start learning to fly those with guards on them, fly around the house, don't really gonna wreck anything.
And cheap too.
Yeah, and cheap. So I reckon it's a must. Yeah, get the kids into it because they're going to love it.
Alrighty, this one's from Eric Love. What do you all think is the most important part of a quad? What component makes the biggest difference?
Well, it's a hard one because look, there's a lot of components, but probably my favourite's the flight controller because really without that, it's not going to fly at all, is it? Well, it won't fly without motors either, I guess, but to me, the flight controller...
Well, what's he saying? If you put it like you should upgrade the flight controller versus a cheap one versus a good one?
Yeah, good flight controller, mostly good flight controllers now. I've got OSDs in them, which I really think it's a must now. Helps you preserve your batteries as well, so talking better to everything now. So, yeah, that's my 2 bobs worth.
Yeah, I definitely think if you can get an OSD, like that's a good place to upgrade and those good flight controllers. But for me, what's more important for me is a good quality FPV camera, and I think if you don't have good FPV vision, it just takes away from the whole experience as a whole. So for me, I understand the flight controller part, but I'm going to say for me, the most important part is getting a good FPV camera that sort of adjusts to the light well and is nice and crisp and clear. So, but both much for much.
It is a hard one because there's a lot of important gear you really need on those. So
yeah, and you could almost say ESCs or motors.
It's a bit hard to put it down to one component.
Yeah.
So,
but the good thing is, I guess for a couple of extra bucks, it's easy to upgrade. Like the difference between really cheap and good, and just a little bit more expensive isn't too much. And the same with a camera too. You know, you can get a really cheap one, which isn't recommended, or if you just spend a few more bucks, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that applies right across the board. Doesn't
it does. This one's from Jen. Hey man, I guess. So, hey Stu, quick question. ESCs these days are getting better and better. How would you say that?
Hyman.
ESCs these days are getting better and better. How would you still choose separate ESCs or go with a decent 4-in-1? Now I'm going to say for me, back in the day, yes, everybody said get spare ESCs, put them on the arms, and I do agree it would help with dissipating heat, all that sort of jazz, but nowadays I don't really blow ESCs out anymore. It's very rare, I find. I've probably done it like twice and definitely not one recently, so I would just say get the 4-in-1, don't bother getting a spare, and you know, if it happens to break, they're pretty cheap nowadays that it's not going to be too much complaining to try and replace. Trev?
Yeah, well, I blew one on the weekend, so which is, I've got to admit, it's the first one for a long time. And I don't really care which ones I use now. The 4-in-1s used to be really expensive and pretty crappy. Now they're really good and not so expensive. So
they also come with a PDB a lot of the time now, so you don't need that.
So I'd really wouldn't care. So as long as you buy a good quality one, don't buy shit. You know, that's why you'll end up with more trouble than what it's worth.
You're doing that just so I'll have to bleep that out.
Yeah.
Alright, so this one's from El Singen FPV. Hey Stu, looking into drones, looking into doing my own reviews, etc. How do you make it look so smooth and professional? Do you prep a script or do you just go impromptu? Any pointers for new YouTubers like myself? Love the channel. Now, this one's kind of apt because Trevor, although you've got your own YouTube channel, you're about to actually start doing some serious stuff, so you've got some things in. You're going to start looking at some products. I'm not going to do any of the spoilers, but stay tuned to Trevor's channel. I'll put a link up here above his head because he's also going to be having some stuff going on, which is pretty exciting. And I guess you can listen to my advice here. I guess when it comes to starting a channel, it's not so much you need a script, but have some things, like have some structure to it. Like I've got, if you watch some of my reviews, like I go through like the quality, the components, pros and cons, like I actually have a bit of a list of things that I want to touch off on. And also when I go out into the field, you know, I want to fly it around, I sort of follow the same structure. And if Trev's there, get his opinions and then get crash test Cal. So I like to sort of have some of those things in there. I don't just go out and film any part, but it's something that took a lot of time to get right. Like it took going through, practicing it and just sort of developing my art, finding out what works for me, and that's what I put into the channel. So yeah, it does take a little bit of time to learn, but I think it does help having a bit of a list, so have a think about that. What about you, Trev? What do you think? I know you're just about to start the adventure.
Can you just read the start of that question again?
Hi Stu, looking into doing my own reviews. How do you make it look so smooth and professional?
Oh, because we are smooth and professional. But,
okay, what do you think? So on your stuff, are you going to prep? Are you going to have a script, or how are you thinking about your new channel that's coming up?
Yeah, look, write down what you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think definitely.
Obviously about the quad, you know, motors and all that sort of stuff. Just don't make it too long and boring. And
you say mine are long and boring?
I'm saying anything, just don't make it. We can't shut you up when you start talking. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think scripting it is good, but you don't have to script what you're going to say. I mean, you just come out with it like Stu does, and otherwise it'll be, I've got this quad here, it's got a motor. and it's got a prop, so none of that.
Actually, speaking of that, I would probably say make sure to like relax a little bit in front of the camera. Like when I first did mine, I know we sort of make jokes. I was too stiff and robotic, and you know, it's a good tip for me is just make content too that people would like to watch. Anyway, let's move on. The John Dog has a company ever gotten pissed off at one of your reviews? Have you ever been cussed out by a CEO? Now I don't want to name names here, Trevor, so we're not going to name drop. But there has been some quads in the past that we've really binned.
Holy cow.
We're not saying any names, and yeah, they were quite upset that we slagged off one of their products, and that was like one of the very few sponsored reviews where I got paid to do it, and I still, like, you know, I couldn't lie to tell it like it was. Yeah, we weren't very big fans of that, so yeah. Definitely, we have been cussed out and got some mean emails, but you know, I would like to think that it went back to the drawing board, and as a result, some better quads did come out a little bit later. So I'm just not going to let Trevor answer this one because we don't want to incriminate anyone.
Bottom line is they don't love us anymore.
Yeah. Mujin Kim, you wear flight test apparel, but you don't do any reviews about any drones by them or planes. Why don't you review planes? I guess there's some things I want to talk about with this one. Why don't you fly planes, Trev? Actually, we'll get you to answer that part.
Plain and simple. We don't know how to fly them.
Was that a pun? Or did you mean that?
No, I didn't mean that.
Okay, yeah, that's good, that's good.
Well, I've had a go, but it didn't turn out too well. But it's probably something later on. I dare say that it shouldn't be a hard transition to learn how to fly one of those things, so we will do that one day.
Yeah, I guess for me, look, I think I want to get into fixed wing. FPV, I'm sort of mad about aviation now, and I definitely think there's room for trying some planes out because I know a lot of you guys are into it. And I've also chased a few planes, and it was absolutely amazing, like a really cool FPV experience, chasing a wing with some streamers.
You should have seen him going down the runway.
Trevor's a comedian today. As far as reviewing like drones and stuff from flight test or planes, I guess I've got so much stuff to get through. Nothing against flight test. I absolutely love the guys over there. I've got a flight test poster actually in my room, and I'm big fans of them. And you know, some people like to think that there's competition between YouTube reviewers and all that sort of stuff. And look, there might be amongst some others, but I don't feel like that. I feel like everyone in there, we're all in the same boat. We're all just trying to share this passion of, you know, FPV, and Flight Test does an amazing job. So shout out to those guys because I know they spark a lot of passion. They get a lot of people flying and they do a lot for the community. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Flight Test people. I guess that's what I was trying to say. Anyway, Jared Whittle, what was the hardest technical troubleshooting problem you've overcome or figured out? Or what was the dumbest moment you've had with drones? Trev?
Look, the hardest... the hardest one that I've had to diagnose had this horrible jello all the time, and it was driving me nuts. This is way back in the early days. We were using those other flight controllers.
I don't know, mate.
Anyway, the CC3Ds. You had to tune those things and just couldn't get rid of the jello. Worked on this for a couple of days. Finally realised that the lens on the camera was loose. That was where we get out of jello from. So yeah, you can overthink these things, and that's all it was. And it was pretty, not so dumb, but it's pretty easy to slip by
that one's a hard one. Like, I've had that happen to me, and you go through everything in the tune and all that sort of stuff, and you realise, oh, the camera's just not screwed down.
Yeah, well, this was actually, the lens was worse, but the camera, it's the same sort of fault.
Sometimes even worse, the sensor inside the camera can be a total nightmare, because that can be a little bit loose as well. So for me, I would say my biggest, I guess, dumb moment, but it's always good when you solve a problem when it's a really simple solution. For me, you know, I was going through, I thought my VTX was broken because my OSD was coming through, all that sort of stuff, and just really frustrating me. And, you know, changing out things, realised the lens cap was still on the camera. So, you know, that was probably my biggest dumb moment. I've done that quite a few times, actually.
What about last week when you forgot to plug it in?
When?
It wouldn't work. You said you couldn't arm it and it had no battery on it.
That wasn't me. This one's from Peter Butchman. New subscriber and greatly enjoying your reviews. It appears that you may be married. Yes, I am. Sorry, all you FPV ladies out there. As someone trying to get into FPV race drones, how does one convince a spouse?
Beg your pardon?
Sorry about the construction next door. How does one convince a spouse to support the hobby? What about you, Trev? How do you convince your missus to support your habit?
Yeah, habit and hobby, yeah. That's easy. Don't tell her.
I'm not advocating for that. You should definitely be telling your wife about the things you're doing.
Oh, well, you got to do something. Gets me out of the house, so
that's probably why she loves it. She wants you out, mate.
She doesn't care. So I'm probably one of the lucky ones. My wife tolerates a lot, so
she got to put up with you all day.
Yeah, she's got to put up with me.
So no wonder she wants you out.
That's really a hard one to answer because I think
it's just relationships, isn't it? Like,
buy some flowers.
Okay, that's a good
one. Buy a quad at the same. Oh, you bought me some one of these. Yeah,
it was something special.
Yeah. Maybe chocolates as well.
Yeah, I would say, look, I guess if it's your significant spouse, just having open communication and talking to them. If it's something you really love, and obviously you're not, I guess, a habit, making sure you're not blowing all your money on it, making sure you still got money for the living and all that other sort of stuff. But if it's something you're really passionate about and you really enjoy, then your spouse should probably see that and support that. So I'm really lucky in that respect anyway. I know that my wife is really supportive, and right from the start she would say she was really proud of everything I was doing on UAVfutures, and she could see how much joy and passion I had for that, and she's been supportive with me the whole way. To my darling wife, I actually couldn't do UAV. For you guys listening as well, I couldn't do UAVfutures without the support of my wife. So
yeah, just make sure you save enough money to send the kids to school, all right?
Alright, this one's from Mike Tech. Do you think the YouTube market is already saturated with so many guys and gals doing reviews or freestyles or vlogs? Or do you think there's still room for more? What separates those at the top? You want me to go, you go?
No, you can go.
Alright, I would say, is the YouTube market saturated? Look, there's a lot of people doing it, definitely a lot more than when I started, but my advice today would be, I still think there's room for so many more people. The hobby's growing every single day, and the most important thing is, if you love this and you want to make videos, then it doesn't matter if 1 million people are doing it or no one's doing it. Just get out there, make content, and that's what's going to separate the people at the top, because they're going to be the people who are passionate about it, who they'd be doing it even if they didn't have an audience. Like, I know for me, when I started, I still get the same buzz making videos for my 100,000 subscribers as I did to my first 100. So it's still that buzz of just making content about sharing the message and FPV and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's what's going to separate the people at the top. It's not your computer, it's not so much your production qualities, although those things do help and you'll learn those over time. It's just about passion, dedication, and just sharing your message with other people. Trevor, do you think there's room for more people doing more FPV stuff? You're just about to start, so
yeah,
you must be thinking so.
There's plenty of room out there. The guys have got the passion to do it, and it just puts more information out there, and some of it good, some of it crap, but you're always going to get that anyway. So even beyond FPV, YouTube is just unbelievable for what you can find on there. So
and I'm sorry, I just want to interject here and say too, everybody's got like different strengths and weaknesses. So you will, that people want to see content that, won't be on my channel, it won't be on someone else's channel, it might be on Trevor's channel, or it might be someone else's. Everybody's got their own strengths and weaknesses, and you'll find your own audience.
You won't shut up.
Okay. You keep going. Sorry, Trevor.
Yeah, but now I forgot what I was going to say. You were talking that much.
I think you were just saying how good UAVfutures is.
Yeah. What's that? Yeah, look, it's plenty of room for plenty of content. The more out there, the better it is for everybody in FPV.
Yeah, totally agree. Sorry I interrupted you.
Say you should be.
Rabbiter. What's that one?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
Rabbiter, yeah.
Rabbiter FPV. Yeah. Hi Stu, when are you going to get a new wooden stick? The one you use in your reviews to show you details looks like you've eaten it half away. I probably have. I guess maybe I'm a bit of a serial pen chewer, when you're doing your exam and you got your pen in your mouth. And that is actually a chopstick that people are seeing me tap on the bench. That's been with me for a long time, and maybe it is time to go out and get a new pointer, head up to the Chinese or Japanese restaurant and get a new pointer for you guys. Next time I go there, I'll get an extra bunch, I'll bring them home, and that's what you'll see. What are you going to use to point stuff out on the bench?
That's going to be a surprise.
I don't know why you said it like that. Sounds very sinister. Lennis Bobo. When I think of Australia, I think of dangerous animals like snakes and spiders. Do you ever encounter those, for example, when retrieving a crash quad? And if so, how do you deal with them? But thanks for the effort you put into your channel. This one's kind of interesting because Trevor's going to say he's not. Look, I don't like spiders, and that's why I always freak out going under Trevor's house where we're building this little micro FPV racetrack. I don't like spiders. Australia has some pretty nasty spiders, and Trevor doesn't like snakes. I don't like snakes either, but all the time Trevor's like, oh, don't go over there, the snakes. No, I'm not flying there, that grass is too long.
It's long, guys.
Constantly. And you know what, it's a little bit of a joke, but in Australia, you kind of don't want to mess with snakes. I'm going to put some footage at the end of this Q&A that was out last week where I was actually talking about that. I got my boots on, you know, and I'm walking through the long grass and it's near a river. It's definitely not the sort of place where you want to be because you've got things like brown snakes which are really aggressive, really venomous, like can kill you. So there is some sketchy stuff out there that you don't want to run into.
We've got some of the most deadliest snakes in the world in Australia.
Yeah, it's not
we're not petrified of snakes, so we just got to be careful where we walk.
Yeah, do you encounter those, for example, in a Trev and Crash quad? So, and how do we deal with them? Well, yeah, we have run into them a few times, like down at the chimney too. We found them, and you just avoid them. I guess it's just having proper precautions, so making sure you got boots on or little guards or, you know, jeans or something like that. And don't be stupid, just be careful when you're walking around. So I know I've seen some videos over in like stateside where people are just wading through long grass and near water and all that sort of stuff. That gives me the heebie-jeebies because there is no way I'll be doing that as carefree as they are over there because it can be a little bit scary. What about you, Trev? What's your advice? Like, how do you avoid them? Like, do we run across them?
Yeah, well, we've spotted a couple. Well, I haven't, whether you've seen any, but I'm just a bit cautious of snakes. I've seen a lot. Yeah, just avoid them. If they hear you coming, look, they'll go the other way. Just try not to step on them. They get upset when you do that.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
We have seen plenty when we've been out, but they're always going away or going the other way, which is great. So don't see many spiders. We brush them off, Stu, before he sees them. So.
I don't like spiders. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, Australian animals are just not friendly. Tyler Penny, g'day to ya, Stu. Do you ever duck, weave, bob or lean when flying FPV? I didn't realise I did this until somebody told me. Keep the awesome videos coming. I love the channel. Thanks so much, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it because I love making this stuff. I guess sometimes I duck and weave if I'm going in for a fast crash that I'm not expected. Just a little bit. I tend to, over time, I think I'm sort of getting my skills a little bit better. I'm not doing it as much. But I do notice if I'm standing up and maybe I'm doing power loops and I'm coming in, that's when I find myself moving a little bit more if I'm standing up. If I'm sitting down, I'm usually a lot more, I guess, rock solid. And a shout out to Crash Test Cal, or we could nickname him the Clown, just going like this. This one's for you, Cal. This is all he does with his goggles on. What about you, Trev? Do you duck and bob and weave and all that jazz?
The only time I do it now, I did used to do that sort of fly around, but mainly now is when you hit something that you don't expect. You go, oh, you know, that's about it.
Yeah.
But it's quite common to see Cal's the best at it.
Yeah. But who cares? If you're having fun, like you look stupid enough already with a big box on your face or a pair of sunnies.
Are you saying saying Cal looks stupid?
Yeah, sometimes. And well, especially when I put him in that helmet.
You ever seen those when you go to the fair or the circus and all that sort of stuff? You see those clowns that you put the...
I already mentioned this, Trevor. Were you not listening to my question?
The little count.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. You didn't mention anything about ping pong balls.
We're moving on. God, this is shenanigans. Bad Chisel. Stu, I'm watching DRL and loving it. Wish you could be there racing with these guys. You dig it. You know, I really like DRL. Shout out to Nurk FPV because I think, you know, and I think Wild Willie, they've got some really cool tracks. I would love to go on DRL, but I don't know how, you know, it's not just about race skills, it's also about characters, and their characters all seem to come across as so cool or sleek or just professional, and then to have two people like Trev and myself rocking up, like wearing our sock guards so we don't get grass seeds in there. I'd probably have like some big daggy hat on, running around the bush, some Aussie
on
dude.
his big daggy head.
Yeah, I don't know what DRL would be thinking about having us on there as their, as their pilots. What about you, Trev? Would you watch DRL?
They wouldn't be able to understand us anyway.
That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, would you go on there?
Oh, why not? Don't do anything once.
Noah Saxian, what are the best budget motors, do you think? Trev, what are your best go-to budget motors?
Look, I'd have to say the Racer Stars.
Yep.
They're, I think, about $10 or something. I think they're even cheaper than that now.
Yeah, I think they're like $7. I'll link them down below.
I actually have tried a couple of sets of those, and they do work rather well.
Yep.
They don't last a long time, especially if you push them, but to get started, can't go past them.
And you can get a spare too because they're pretty cheap if you are going to go.
Yeah.
My advice, if you're going to be getting the Racer Stars, get the 2600 kV version because I feel like that's more, you get the same amount of power as like a better quality 2300 kV version. That's my theory anyway, sort of in my experience. I would say my budget motor's a little bit more expensive than the base Racer Star ones. I am a fan of the Racer Star ones, but something that I think does a good value motor is the Brother Hobby Returner 2 motors. I think they're really, really good, and they go pretty hard for the price as well. They're only a 2205, but I think they're a really good motor. BK Racer FPV, when are you guys coming stateside for a visit? I would absolutely love to come stateside. I hope it happens sometime soon in the future. I don't know when we're both going to be going. Trev, what about you?
When someone pays me to go over.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to save up a bit then to pay for Trev and myself. I'll take my wife as well and my daughter, but yeah, so, oh yeah, I would love to go over there, especially for something like Flight Test or Flight Test South or, you know, West, East. I'm not sure which one, but I would love to go to an event like that and just meet a whole bunch of people into the hobby who are excited about aviation. We'd
be flying for the whole trip.
Flying there?
You're flying there, going over there and you're flying, then you're coming back and you're flying.
Yeah.
We get airsick.
Do you know real life flying actually freaks me out a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Drone Ever. I think that's how you say it. When was Grumpy Trev's workplace ever clean? You know what? I don't know. I have no idea the last time this place was clean. What about you, Trev? When was this place clean?
Before I moved in.
And then what happened? Straight away, instant mess.
Oh, well, it never used to look like this. It used to be messier. It actually is getting cleaned up. We're in the process of cleaning out the new indoor track that we're building under here. So you'd be surprised how much stuff is under there, or was under there.
It's still a pigsty in here, let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's always a pigsty, but I like it.
I think it's a tidy mess.
Yeah, it's a good mess.
A lot of good stuff though.
Anyway, that was actually the last question, so now it's time to sort of give something away to somebody. What we're going to do, remember, massive shout out to Catalyst Machine Works as well for sponsoring this episode. We've got America frame to give out. Where you going, Trev?
The same size as you.
How are you going to hold them in your hand?
You watch.
Just want to see so if I can tell the difference. I reckon you made them way too short, mate. Look, that one's a short one, you fool.
Big steer on it.
Alright.
You have to put that in, mate.
Yeah, put that in now. Anyway, so Trev and I, it looks like you're going to be picking the winner. For those of you what's happening, we're just trying to find a way to sort of pick what question we're going to give out to you guys. So what question's going to win. Massive shout out to Catalyst Machine Works for sort of sponsoring this episode, hooking somebody up with one of their America frames, and then check their link out down below because they've got like some 3-inch, 4-inch and also 5-inch versions. These things are absolutely crazy. In my review that you would have seen on Friday, I'll leave that link up here. I gave this thing a 10 out of 10 design. I don't think I've seen a better one. This is one of the best airframes I've ever seen. And check this out. You haven't seen it yet because you haven't seen the video, but this front part is actually on a different angle to the back part, so you can see they're actually split. So this prop is just a little bit higher. Some really smart things they've done in there. So go and check that out. Share some love for Catalyst Machine Works because they're a fantastic company, and drop those comments down below about all the love for them. But I guess we were going to sort of draw straws and all that sort of stuff, but I picked the longer one. Which one was going to win?
Which is the short one, Stu?
And are we going again?
Yeah, go again.
Okay, we're going to go again. So whoever picks the longest one picks the question?
Yeah, right.
Alright, whoever picks the longest question, whoever picks the longest prop, goes through, gets out and chooses which one is going to be the winner for today's episode. Longest prop. That's this one. Yeah.
You got it right that time. Yeah. There it is.
Alright, well, I'm going to choose... There was that one about YouTube. This one. So from L. Chington FPV, Ching, I don't know, whatever. How do you say that? L. Chington FPV. Hey Stu, I'm looking at doing my own reviews. How do you make it look so smooth and professional? Do you put a script or any impromptu? And the reason I've chosen this one is because I think the more people creating content, the better. The more we can share a message of FPV, and you know, if you're doing that, that's going to be great for the hobby, and hopefully it encourages other people out there to start making videos about this fantastic sport. Because look, I'm a massive fan, and I want as many people as flying as I can. So congratulations to Elle. I'm going to be contacting you. Check your inbox, spam box, all that sort of jazz, because we're going to be hooking you up with one of these Catalyst Machine Works frames and $100 in-store voucher. You know, massive shout out to them. So for everybody else, drop your questions down below. Share some love for Grumpy Trev, because we'll leave a link up here somewhere to his channel. Will be in the description somewhere around. He's got some exciting stuff coming. Yeah, subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying. All right.
We're going to have to do one where we tie your hands up.
No. I do move them around a lot, don't I? People always say that. Whew. This is when it's a bit sketchy, when you're sort of looking through the grass and you're kind of worried about snakes. Which might not seem like a big deal for a lot of the world, but in Australia you really don't want to mess with them and if you can help it, you want to avoid situations like this, out in the bush with some long grass near a river. It's not a good idea. All right, time to find my quad. I know my battery's down there. GoPro was up there. Trevor's hassling me over there.
So,
we're out here in the outback.
this is the quad I'm flying. It's really nice. And whoa, what the hell?
There's a snake here in the outback. Outback Aussie.
Check him out, man.